901 to Manhattan. We just had a plane crash into Alpha 4 of the World Trade Center, transmit a second alarm, and start relocating companies.
I distinctly remember it being a beautiful, crisp, clear morning.
I remember it was a gorgeous day.
He said, "You need to come see this. The World Trade Center's been hit."
I remember I showed up for church, and I had only been in New Jersey for like 3 months at the time after we came from Chicago, and the ladies were praying, and they said a plane hit the World Trade Center.
So I was in high school, sitting in study hall, and the construction workers who were doing construction on the building were talking back and forth to each other, and one of them said, "Yeah, did you hear? It flew planes into the World Trade Center and shut the whole country down."
And I dropped Elena off at school and came back and made a phone call to Nancy Kane, who immediately said, "You have to turn on the news."
She came into the house and she said, "Check out the news, you gotta turn the TV on." And we turned it on and we watched it and we saw exactly what was going on and just really couldn't believe what was happening.
So I was in 6th grade when 9/11 happened, and I was in school, and I remember the teacher kind of made an announcement early in the day, and I remember just thinking that it was an accident.
Right away we just kind of stopped and prayed for all the people that had to deal with this. And you could see their faces and how sad they were and how in awe they were and how devastated they were.
And I put the news on, and it was right before the second plane hit Tower 2.
Then I remember going home, and it was on the news the rest of the day, and just seeing people jump out of the buildings is, I think, like the main image that stuck in my mind.
Teachers putting the news on. We got out of school early, went home and sat around the TV, watched the news. It's crazy.
What I distinctively remember too is when one of the towers went down, I was watching that tower crumble before my eyes in real time, and seeing that thing come to the ground before the commentators even realized in their own minds what had just taken place.
A couple hours after we heard about the attack, we came on top of the building where I worked, and we could see the smoke.
And right above us, the smoke from the World Trade Center came right over us. It was as if we could touch it.
So we're walking up right now to the actual footprints where the Twin Towers once stood. This is a humbling spot to be, really sacred ground in many ways, when you consider what took place right here at this location. So this is my first time actually to the memorial since the actual accident took place back on 9/11, 2001. And you're at a loss for words, but what they did is beautiful. Cascading waterfalls, and then along the perimeter on the outside where my hand is right now, you see the names of all the people that lost their lives in that awful tragedy. I think most of us can remember watching those events unfold on television, and it's hard to believe when the last images in your mind are of people jumping from the building and the rescue workers, all the first responders that came, and then the actual buildings themselves crumbling down, and that we're standing on the exact location where all that took place. It's amazing to see how they preserve such a large swath of land to commemorate and memorialize those that lost their lives. This will be footprint number 2. So the first of the two Twin Towers opened in 1970. The dedication was in 1973 when both were fully erected. At that time, they were the tallest buildings in the world.
It was a plane that struck the building.
I'll tell you, after the terrorist attack happened, there was so much pandemonium that most people couldn't find their loved ones. So signs like this were posted to try to locate those who hadn't been found since the attack. Behind me is the famous last column that was removed about a year and a half after the attack. We had a very interesting and humbling time here at the 9/11 Memorial. Unfortunately, I was not able to bring my camera into most of the museum, and I can understand why. It's a very sacred and a place that deserves the utmost respect. What's going through your mind?
It's deep. I mean, on repeat, you see so many of the families that were destroyed by what happened that day, and yet at the same time, there's still the hope that you have as humans, and that you're able to sort of forge together and press on, getting over it. I mean, with the mom and her 3 sons in that sports part, she was saying how for whatever it was, a month, she didn't see him smile until Piazza hits the game-winning home run in the 8th inning. And that, 3 seconds of, yeah, we're gonna get through this. It's powerful. So.
I was impressed with the way they were able to use all your senses of seeing it, hearing it, and a lot of information.
It was amazing, overwhelming, awesome, very sobering.
Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, yeah, a lot of the stuff was hard to read or hard to hear. And especially, I was only 11 when it happened, so I think a lot of the details I didn't know.
It was a little bit difficult to relive it again.
It's very hard to go walk through that and to see and feel how people felt during that time. Listening to the phone calls, I think, is the hardest part for me. Kind of like what Jack said with having people still finding hope throughout the situation. It's pretty cool. Helping each other, going up and down the stairs. There's a lot of information in that museum.
I think what stuck out at me was just the confusion of it all after the event happened, where there was actually that one situation where people were being reordered to go back into the building because they thought the tower was secure. No one can make sense of what was going on, why this would happen, and then even just the confusion of people trying to, even when they got all the facts together, figure out why things like this take place in this world and how to cope with evil, how to cope with loss. The absence of so many loved ones was amazing, as people were just, it was all about searching for answers in the beginning phases, and also months and years later in the aftermath. I do hope you enjoyed this video log and helps you to remember those thousands of those that lost their lives in that memorable day on September 11th, 2001. If you haven't done so yet, we would appreciate your subscription to the channel. Thanks for watching, and as always, remember, there's room for you on our next National Park Adventure.